Hello leaders, I'm Vanessa G. Nelson. Welcome to my 9th Nelson HR Report. I plan to come on every month to talk to you about HR hot topics to keep you informed. So let's start by talking about mental health. May is Mental Health Month. Did you know that 1 in 5 people have a mental illness? It's estimated that 43.4% of adults have a mental illness. So pretty much everyone knows of or knows someone who has a mental illness. However, it's typically ignored in the workplace. Now, mental illness in the workplace can be very costly. It can cost you in absenteeism, loss of productivity, people coming to work sick, turnover, and on and on. Also, your health care costs can soar due to mental illness. And did you know depression marks as the most costly health condition for organizations? Also, mental illness, people that suffer with mental illness could even become violent. So how do we as leaders deal with and accommodate mental illness in the workplace? Especially because a lot of mental illness is not diagnosed. It goes untreated. In fact, the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry estimates that 85% of employees' mental illnesses go undiagnosed or untreated. So this is a serious situation. And the other part of it is typically many employees are fearful of talking about mental illness or their mental health because it's still taboo in a lot of organizations and just in society in general. People do not want to talk about mental illness. So therefore, employees hide it so that they won't feel stigmatized. So therefore, leaders, to help you deal with, and me too, with mental illness in the workplace, I've composed 7 tips. So here are the 7 tips to help deal with this in the workplace because it is a serious issue. And if you think about how many people actually have a mental illness and how many probably have it and have not disclosed it or have gone undiagnosed, it's prevalent in your workplace. Everybody has this issue. So number 1, consider providing a wellness program or wellness opportunities for your employees. And you may say, well, wow, that's very expensive. I can't afford to do that. I just can't do it. But however, according to a study by Truven Health Analytics, Johnson & Johnson implemented an employee wellness program, and they realized that for every dollar they spent, they actually saved $1.88 to $4 on healthcare costs. So please keep that in mind, that it could actually help you if you implement a wellness program, and it'll also help you with maintaining a healthier workforce. Number 2, consider allowing flexible scheduling. Now, most employees love a flexible schedule or working from home. They love those things. And also it can promote work-life balance as well as reduce stress. For instance, I typically recommend to clients to use flexible scheduling as an incentive to employees. And this also helps employees work a little harder or give you more productivity because they enjoy the flexible schedule. So for instance, you could allow an employee to work 10 hours per day and give them an extra day off during the week, like a Monday or Friday, for instance. But in turn, they would have to maintain excellent or very good attendance. And on the other hand, you could also have an incentive where if a person is meeting or exceeding their sales goals, maybe you would let them work from home 1 day a week. So these things really matter, and it helps reduce that stress that people feel that cause them to have issues. Number 3, there's a website called Workplace Strategies for Mental Health. Now, workplace strategies for mental health. You can go to this website and you can actually review videos. They have free newsletters, and you may decide you want to share those type of videos and newsletters with your staff. So you can go to my website, experthumanresources.com, and go to my blog, and I have all the website information, and as a matter of fact, everything I'm talking about is there on the website as well. Also, you want to keep in mind, leaders, when you're speaking with your employees, and this is number 4, it's crucial that you use the correct wording when you're talking to your employees. For instance, instead of saying, how is your health, if you have an employee that you notice is having problems, instead of saying, how is your health, which that term could actually maybe get you in legal trouble, you want to say, how can we help you do your job? And that is a better way to frame that question. Number 5, you can encourage employees to talk about stress and workload and family commitments, and partner or consult with the EAP service, which is Employee Assistance Program. And in my dealings with clients over the years, EAP programs have proved to be very beneficial. And also, EAP programs can help save the organization money by helping with the employee issues, which can help with the attendance problems and healthcare issues. So you may want to really look into that if you don't have one already. You want to make sure your benefits cover mental health and invest in mental health benefits for your employees. And number 7, remember, you have to accommodate employees based on the law. So unless it creates undue hardship, the Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA, requires that most employers offer accommodations to employees with a mental illness. Now, but please note now, if you have an employee that has violated your policies or has a misconduct issue, or if there is a presence of violence, presence of a threat or some type of violence, then yes, you can discipline or terminate as appropriate to protect your workforce. So you don't have to try to offer accommodation if that happens. But in most instances, you want to make sure you're accommodating if possible. And if you're not sure, you can always go to the Job Accommodation Network, jan.org, JAN.org, and they have resources available so you can tap in if you need to make accommodations or not, and what type of accommodations you need. Next, leaders, I want to talk to you about a staffing agency. There's a staffing agency in Sterling, Virginia, who last month they were working with one of their clients, and they had their client submit a job posting to them to post online. So the staffing agency posted the job for a pharmaceutical company in Tampa, Florida, and they posted the job online, and the job they did not audit the job posting before posting it, and it was found later that the posting said preferably Caucasian applicants with good technical backgrounds and 8 to 10 years of experience for a full-time account manager position. So what's wrong with that posting? Well, immediately the posting caused outrage. They received several comments, even on Twitter, all types of emails, and their reputation started taking a hit. And so the whole point of me talking to you about this is you want to make sure, leaders, that you are auditing your postings, you're making sure that the verbiage in the postings is appropriate, and not only for something like so out there to where you can notice that. There's other things you can say in postings that could be discriminatory. And one thing I like about Judge Millian on the People's Court, she's one of my favorite lawyers. She always says, write it, regret it. And in this case, this company is regretting it because, especially when something goes online and goes viral, then even if you take it down, it could forever haunt you. So you want to really be careful. And as you know, the EEOC Title VII prohibits recruitment practices that purposely discriminate on the basis of race, color, and other protected classes. Also, like I said before, you want to just really look at your postings to make sure you're not saying things that are discriminatory. And one last thing, just to note, I typically, in all of my job descriptions that I write for clients, I add an EEO statement right there in the posting, right there in the job description. So you may want to think of doing that too for yourself. Next, leaders, a follow-up from last month's Nelson HR report regarding EEO-1 Pay Data Reporting. Now, last month I went into detail about what this reporting entailed, and then I mentioned to you that there was going to be a court hearing on April 16th, and I mentioned that after that court hearing, I would let you know the conclusion. So basically, I talked to you last month about component 1 of the EEO pay data reporting, and that is due on May 31st, by May 31st. And component 2 was the part they had the hearing on. So based on the court hearing, the EEOC expects to begin collecting component 2 data for the calendar year 2017 and 2018 by mid-July 2019. And the EEOC is going to notify employers of exactly when the precise date the survey will open so it'll be available. But you have to have it in by September 30th. So if you want more information about the EEO-1 pay data reporting, or if you missed last month's Nelson HR report, you could please go to the website and we'll have that posted for you. And you can go to my blog and read about the EEO-1 pay data reporting. And it details exactly what you need to do. Or you can also go to the Nelson HR report video for May, and that spells out all the details. You can just watch that. And send me a line if you have any questions. I'm always happy to talk to you. Hello, leaders. You notice anything different? Yes, I'm wearing a hat. And when you saw me wearing this hat, did your perception change, or did you think, wow, what did you think? So basically, this is leading up to the tip of the month, which is dress code. The way your employees present themselves is the way your customers will look at you. They'll think, okay, this company is this way or that way, and they can do it based on the way your employees look. So if you have a staff of people, when the customer comes in and they're all in t-shirts and flip-flops, they're going to have one type of perception. But if they come in and everybody's dressed professionally, which may be casual business, everybody's neat and clean, then they may have a different perception. So, first of all, organizational dress codes vary based on business, the nature of the business. So not everybody's going to be the same with a dress code. However, with summer approaching, I get more calls from clients about the dress code. They're having problems with people wearing flip-flops and tank tops and all sorts of things, tight muscle shirts. You know, I recall a time I was working with a client and they told me they had a problem with an employee, and they said, hey, the employee's not wearing underwear, it's a problem. And it was a retail store, so the person's out on the floor and they're telling me, and I just can't get it, because I'm not getting, okay, how do you know the person's not wearing underwear? That's kept going through my mind. So they said, well, okay, we're going to take you down to the floor and maybe you can kind of observe. So I go down there and I'm watching, and immediately I knew the person probably wasn't wearing underwear. And I said, we have to do something about this guy immediately. Very inappropriate. So it could even be that they're not wearing underwear. Now, when you're dealing with dress code, you want to make sure that you're not being discriminatory, like you have the women not being able to do this, but the men can do that. A recent court case I saw where the women were not able to wear shorts to a certain length, but the men could. So you want to make sure you're really monitoring that. And also, you want to make sure that you're thinking about, the way a person dressed, it shouldn't, but it can also cause problems in the workplace, such as sexual harassment. So in order to avoid any of that, you want to make sure everybody's dressed, I always say, from the neck to the knee or something of that nature. Now, I don't know if you recall or not, but last year, Mary Barra, the CEO of General Motors, she changed her 10-page dress code policy down to 2 words: dress appropriately. Now, her rationale in doing this was that her frontline supervisors and managers should be able to own the dress code policy. And by that, I mean they should be able to monitor people's dress and tell them what's appropriate and what's not. They should be able to own that. And I believe that could work if you really have strong leadership. But personally, I believe that you should have a dress code that's more detailed, because all managers may not understand appropriate, or they might think some things are appropriate that you don't. So in my opinion, I would say to be a little more detailed, because employees, they might not understand appropriate. So you want to make sure that it's spelled out, it's detailed, and that way if something happens, you have it in writing. It also helps with consistency among the managers, and it helps employees be compliant with the dress code. So what do you think? Do you think a 2-word dress code is enough? Like the CEO of General Motors, who says dress appropriately? Or do you think you need to be more specific? Feel free to drop me a line, and if you do, I'll talk about it on the next Nelson HR report. Well, that concludes my June Nelson HR report. Thank you for watching, and remember to love yourself, enjoy your family, and be safe. Now, don't forget to do your HR audits, and I'll see you next month.
Learn how to protect your organization and improve your bottom line. Get your copy of Vanessa's book, 101 Costly HR Mistakes and How to Fix Them. Her book is packed full of real-life experiences and available to you now at Amazon.com or NelsonHRReport.com.